interesting. I guess, like, if we think about it, the player isn't really controlling. Like, the player node contains the ship and the chain and everything about the player. But from the human's perspective, they aren't controlling the player. They're only controlling a subset of the player, which is just the ship, right? So does it make sense for the control state to be attached to the ship only? And I think maybe it does. And then we can just use signals to communicate with the other nodes in our tree, perhaps. Okay. This is the control state, and I wonder if we just treat it like a node instead of initializing it here. Yeah, I think that's better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure we're extending node and so that's just going to allow, by extending node, that's going to allow our object to be attached to a tree, to the rendering tree, or the scene tree. It's not quite rendering tree, but it essentially allows us to give this object a parent. And now we can say, instead of creating the control state here, we can just say the control state is a control state, and it's equal to $. So $, is just get it from the tree, and we'll say control state. And that's going to error for a while, but that's fine. Okay, and now we just need to add that control state, and it's just going to say it's not valid. I mean, it's literally there, mate. Control state. Okay, well, let's just see. Once we add it to the player and see if it keeps complaining. Okay, so the player contains a ship and the first link. And now you can see that collision shape might possibly be going a little bit too big up the back end there. Bring that down to like 35 or so. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a control state to our player, and it is simply going to be an empty node, right? So it's not going to be really anything. And we can call this control state, and then we can attach a script to that, which, believe it or not, will be the control state. Cool. What did you do? No. Oh no. Oh, that didn't work. My bad. Okay, so we add a node, and that's going to be a control state. And what I can do is actually, I see what's happened here. So if we save the player now, and we're going to rename this object to control underscore state. Oh. What? Oh, that's the empty one they just created. No, we don't want that. Okay. this one we want, and then we can just drag it onto this node here, and now that becomes that, and still complaining. The identifier control state isn't a valid type. I mean, it's right there, right? I might just try and run the game and see if it crashes. Huh. OnReady bar control state. Oh, it's actually not a control state, it's a node. Rotate on in an instance. Interesting. Oh, yeah, I've done this all wrong. So, I got confused. So we don't want that there. We want to go inside the ship and actually put the control state inside the ship. Right? Okay, so here we go, and let's attach that script again. Actually, I think I prefer to just drag that. I'm going to drag that into ship first, and then now we can drag that there. And so now that has that behavior, and the ship code now has access to this. Sweet. And everything's still working. Okay, so sweet. Now what we're going to do is we are going to connect a signal from the ship, from the control state to the player. So already we create one ship connection. Let's use Visual Studio because it's a bit nicer to read. And okay, so when the player object is ready, we want to connect the collision event, or signal as they're called in Godot, to self.onShipCollision. And what we're going to need to do here is create another onReady variable. And this is going to be control state. And this is going to equal ship / control state. And we can just indent that nice and pretty, like so. Okay, and we can reuse this connection variable because no one cares about it, and say control state dot connect. And first of all, let's just connect the shoot itself, and we can just say on player shoot, or on ship shoot maybe, and here we can say on ship invert, and we will listen to the invert signal like so. Okay, and now we just need to implement our handlers. So let's create a new sort of area down here for signal handlers, and the func on, what was it, on ships, on ship shoot. and we'll just print shoot for now, and we'll just print in, oh actually I think we've got an invert already on ship invert. Cool. And so what we're going to do is we're actually just going to okay, so this is actually a signal handling function, so I'm going to move it down here. And now interestingly enough, I think this is just simply an update tail, because we're going to reuse that, so I'm just going to say update tail here, and we can implement that here. Cool. And on ship invert, what we do is we do tail state dot invert, and we update tail, right? I have a feeling that might even work straight away, but I've said that at least 20 times in the last week, and not a single time have I been right. So grain of salt. Plonk. Okay, and when I push escape, pause at C. I'm not even getting the shoot coming through. Alright, so let's go into the control state and just sanity check ourselves. So every time there's an event, let's just say input event, and you know what, we can just copy this stuff here and plonk it in there. And see if there's any sort of event happening here. Oh. Yes. Alright. So I think that that will actually work now. So I'm getting shoot. Yep. Okay, and then we need two different letters, and can we invert? That didn't seem to trigger an invert. Shoot seems to. Hold on. Oh yeah, so if I push escape, it should be true false. False true, true false. Okay, so we are actually calling the correct emit. So let's go in here and just print tail state 4. That's going to be tail state. And tail state after. Now this was an issue we were having before, and I think it's because of the way we're handling references to that array. Okay, so we're actually getting two